It's a bit hard to perform electronical music live, as it's produced to sound good after a lot of processing, and it's not the same as playing live instruments. But a lot of producers go into DJing and expect DJ gear to get more and more producer friendly, where beat and key matching is simplified. But live production features can give the ability to relive the moment of their music piece. So that's where the new CDJ-3000 comes in. Actually, I'm a bit disappointed. I thought that because of the pressure from Denon, they will really add something new and separate themselves apart. But I saw a lot of things ported from controllers and things that we already are familiar with. And of course, the new key syncing features, nice, I guess. But what really would be revolutionary if they would leave some resources for AI acceleration that would be on the board as a separate chip and have the ability to create stems from tracks live. There's a large buzz around how good were the new RX deep learning models for separating instruments and vocals in a song. This rebalancing feature and how good it is in the latest version. Also, I think that there are other DJ mixing software that actually allows you to separate the tracks. But if Pioneer would have a acceleration chip just for AI inference, they could work wonders, I think. Isotope RX needs to work on a PC without dedicated graphics card or accelerators. So if you know what kind of accelerator you already have, you can then optimize everything to just run really well with that. Others may say that stem mixing was already done by Tractor and kindly did not work. Well, I think mainly that's because you could not master your tracks properly there. You had to use their little compressor and limiter, and I have created these stems for 2 of my releases, and music does sound differently in the end, because I and others really rely on the sound of mastering chain in the end. We are basically mixing everything into the limiters and compressors. If we have a different limiters and compressors in the end, it does sound different. But if you extract these instruments from the already mastered material, that would be great, right? That resolves the problem. And right now, of course, you can hear some artifacts when it's running in RX, for example, but if you would use a more advanced AI model, you can actually imagine this missing information and how it would sound in reality. And although, let's say, a vocal or drums would sound slightly different than if you would just render them out from your project, they at least would have less artifacts than now. But my personal wish was that MIDI too could be played with these players, and you could scratch and edit MIDI live with CDJs. Not only to sync synths with audio live, but for ability to hook up lights to MIDI and trigger them with music. Imagine if you could scratch MIDI tracks and the whole lighting and everything would really react to that. Usually VJs just play some random patterns that don't follow the music, they just follow the mood and are able to switch on large changes, for example, before drops or something like that. But if they would have the input, the musical input in MIDI format, that would allow them to adjust them for delay and have more dynamic effects that are really mimicking the music at that current moment. It would actually open huge possibilities. But Pioneer instead added this Pro DJ Link lighting feature, which in my opinion is a bit gimmicky, but I guess in the right hands something can be done with that as well. Well, what to do? I guess if you want special features, you can now hack CDJ, as it's basically a computer now. Pioneer already have experimented with video scratching and extra large displays with additional features for their festival lineup that tour CDJs, right, and mixer, but they didn't get so large traction. So I guess they didn't want to go that route anymore. And regarding the new processor in CDJ-3000, it is really good that they separated the cores. The cores for the musical playback features in separate CPU, or more precisely the MPU, where nothing can get compromised by other tasks. So they have the dual core ARM Cortex and quad core ARM Cortex MPUs. I guess that the 1.5 GHz dual core with higher clock speeds will be for essential audio performance because of the lower latency that you can achieve with that, and the slower 1.2 GHz quad core, I guess, will be for all the surrounding things. And MPU, the memory protected unit as it's called by ARM, is special in a way that it can split memory in regions and protect them with privileges. So for embedded devices, it makes it more predictable, less prone to crashing and things like that. You can use the MPU to enforce privileges, separate processes, enforce access rules and things like that. Because although Pioneer wants to add maybe some features afterwards and have this whole system really programmable, it needs to be solid as rock, right? So this ability to protect and manage memory is a thing that can help with that. So that's about it. Hopefully Denon will spice it up for the next release. But for now, I guess it's an incremental but still cool update.